there.
So, we
totally nailed that first try, right?
Nailed that.
That was awesome.
That was actually first try. That was seen it before gold.
Seen it before gold.
The gold standard.
Yeah,
which is not usually the case.
We have a gold standard here, and we say hello there on first takes.
No, we don't. Anyway, so I'm Dan. He's Danny, and we're here to review Kenobi, the limited series.
Limited season. Well, we don't know because Hayden and Ewan want a season 2 that we know of. That's
and
right
Deborah Chow said, as long as it makes sense, they will do a season 2.
Yes,
which is what I want. I don't know if we need a season 2 necessarily, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Mm-hmm. But let's go with like general reaction right now before we get into everything. General reaction to the show.
General reaction.
Spoiler free, of course.
Like, do you want to my reaction to the end of the show, or like
just the whole show, the overall show,
or like okay, that's my reaction. Okay, so we got some cool things and we got some not so cool things, and I'll expand my thoughts later.
That is literally the most basic thing you could have said.
What? I'm just saying that's what we got. Like we got. All right, listen.
Got a lot of fan service, but very sprinkled in throughout, which was nice.
So. When I was telling you when we were watching the show, I said there's a list of things that I want to happen. We got. I think we got. I got all of them, but I'm still kind of iffy. So I'm realizing that fan service isn't everything.
And I'm glad they didn't give it to us all at once, because that would have been the wrong move. So.
Right. Yeah. So like I said, so I'm iffy on the show.
All right. Well, without further ado, let's get into it right now. Grogu! We got the boy.
We got the boy here. Okay, cool.
He's here to join us on our epic travels through.
Yes,
I just spit all over.
Our epic travels through. Through the Tatooine-ness and
Dayu. We got
Mapuzo,
Mustafar, a little
Mustafar,
bit.
technically, yeah,
and then some moon.
Some moon where they had the final battle. But spoilers.
But let's start with part 1 here.
Get my notes.
Yeah, get our notes out. So,
all right, right off the bat,
starting at the very beginning, the 4-minute recap was so epic. They did such a good job with it.
They really hyped up the prequels, get me ready for it. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be like,
oh my god,
like he's the chosen one, and then he falls, and it's like it really, like, that editing really simplified why I love the prequels, because like it took all the best parts and it made it
100%. And then starting off with Order 66 too, from a different point of view. I was like, oh shit. Once I saw the helmets, I'm like, oh shit.
It's Order 66.
Immediately with Order 66.
So my issues with the show are shown right off the bat. Why start off the Obi-Wan show with a scene of Reva in Order 66? I understand, it's important to show a different perspective. It's nice to see a different perspective of Order 66, but this is the Obi-Wan show. This isn't about Reva, or it shouldn't be about Reva. So that's what I'm saying. It's like the first shot is always the most important, and that's what they're trying to say. I think that this is Reva's show origin. So.
In a way, yes. I mean, this show was as much hers as it was Obi-Wan's, but
which I don't think should have been the case. I think it should have been Vader.
Yes. I mean, Vader was obviously basically whatever human part was left of him by the end of the show.
Yes.
And Obi-Wan, I wanted to say Ewan McGregor. Obi-Wan.
I mean, he is the one and the same, basically.
Obi-Wan is struggling to reconnect with the Force and reconnect all these feelings he's had built up over the last 9 years or whatever it's been, 9-10 years. So it's just a whole mosh posh of whatever hell is going on.
Yeah, I think this first episode did a pretty good job establishing where Obi-Wan is emotionally, mentally. Mm-hmm. I mean, not that I don't disagree with what they did for Obi-Wan. I like this sad kind of withdrawn from the Force thing. But a few fans have brought up a good point. There's a lot of discourse around this entire show, different opinions, how the show should have gone, what it should have been.
What else to do with Star Wars?
Yeah. So, but a couple fans have mentioned that Obi-Wan's only job is to be prepared for if an Empire invasion finds Luke, right?
Yes.
So he shouldn't be cut off from the Force, which I thought was a little kind of you're kind of right. But at the same time, like says nothing about Obi-Wan's emotional state. So I'm glad they went this route instead. So
I completely agree with that. Like his emotional state was much more fractured than anything else in this. So, and that kind of mirrors Vader in a way as well, trying to let go of his broken past. So it's very, very well put together in that instance. All right, the Inquisitors. We get Inquisitors in a live-action TV show. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, when I first saw them in the trailer, I'm just like, interesting. We're getting Inquisitors in like. So Inquisitors, I didn't realize this, but that was a fully like Disney invention idea.
Yeah.
And one of the better ones that I think they've done, because I always wondered why this rule of 2 is kind of dumb. Like I understand it's part of the lore, but it's a little bit of dumb because it leaves like you have to make backdoor explanations for why there's more Sith or like to introduce more cooler characters. And I always think the dark side was a cooler side of the Force, like more interesting characters, right?
It's more emotional.
Exactly.
It's emotional and stable. Yeah.
Exactly. You get more out of it. So I like that the Inquisitors are a thing. And but one thing I'm not too keen on is like I still don't like how the Grand Inquisitor looks. I still don't like it.
You know what?
And the only reason is because like, it's just a translation from animation to live action. False. We've seen his species in episode 3.
Yes, we did. I do remember that.
Yeah. And I know you probably don't have a big issue with it.
I don't personally have a big issue with it because I'm not like, I'm very connected with Star Wars, but like I'm not uber connected like comic book wise and everything. So
yeah. Well, see, the thing is though, I'm more in the canon area of the official canon of Star Wars. Like I have all the canon books right now, and it just kind of sucks to see that they're kind of a little like overwriting their own canon. And we'll get more to that. But
hey, I mean, Dave Filoni has basically done all of this with the help of Jon Favreau, and like if he wants to rewrite it, he can fucking rewrite it. I don't care, honestly, as long as it makes sense at the end of the day. Like Grand Inquisitor, nothing really.
Okay, he's still the same character. Yes, but. It's like, he just looks different. So I don't know.
He's not Lucius Malfoy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's some cool things. The very first thing we see with the Grand Inquisitor, I'm going to refer to him as Grandy now, because I don't want to say Grand Inquisitor all the time. He's looking for a Jedi in like that hut or whatever, or not the hut, the bar area, and like. He throws off the Jedi by exploiting their compassion. Or actually, that's what Reva ended up doing with throwing a knife at him.
Right. I thought that was very a cool clever inclusion because the Jedi will hunt themselves. It's a great thing, like because that's always like with like Superman. I was just talking about this today with a coworker, but like I was saying like how I don't really like Superman because everyone always points to his weakness being kryptonite, but no, his actual weakness is helping the good of using his moral compass. He's compassion, and that's exactly what Reva and the Inquisitors are doing to this no-name Jedi. I think his name was.
It was I wrote down Nari.
Nari. Okay. Yeah. So played by Benny Safdie, who did Uncut Gems. If you didn't know that.
Oh, he was the director?
Yeah.
Did not know that. That's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah. And we finally get our boy after like 12 or 13 minutes into the episode. He shows up. He's in a meat packing like line or whatever, trying to just do the day-to-day stuff. Mundane, same thing every day. Every day he wakes up, every night, same nightmare.
Nice.
Yeah, I had that going for a while. I just
rewatched it too.
I did too.
It was on Disney Plus. Yeah.
It was Multiverse of Madness. If no one knows that by now, you suck.
So Obi-Wan, you get. I like the this is another thing that like my side of YouTube has really criticized, but like Obi-Wan doesn't do shit the entire episode because it's and they say like, oh, they show a shot of him at work and going on the transport 3 times, but like it's 3 different times of an emotional state that you're seeing him in. They're tent poles for the episode, seeing where he is. So the first one, we're catching up with him after Revenge of the Sith. The second time is after he refuses Bail's call, and then the third one is when he's getting back from when he's going to Bael's call, or when Bael is in his hut.
Yeah,
or
because
whatever.
he sees Nari strung up and everything.
Yeah, so we have 3 different emotional states, and like this is very clearly modeled after the hero's journey, where he's like refusing the call, right?
Yeah,
he's struggling with the,
Yeah, and when Nari confronts him in the desert, Master, is that you? New Rockstars noticed how Ewan McGregor kind of changed Obi-Wan's voice a little bit. He didn't say. I was like, "Ooh, that's a cool little touch," because he forgot how to do the voice himself. Like before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Ewan McGregor forgot how to do Obi-Wan's voice.
Well, speaking of that, I might have it. I just realized that so in one of the episodes I recorded he says a line, and they must have ADR'd or done something, but he just straight up loses his accent. So it might be in my voice memos here.
You're trying to find it right on the fly.
Yeah. I don't have it.
That's okay.
But like he's like, it's in episode 5, and he says like Leia, and then he's like Leia. And you think he'd be like, be careful, like a British accent, but he says, be careful. Like it's
That's so weird.
I'll show you afterward. I'll edit it in right here.
Leia, be careful.
See what I mean? So, but you don't know. But I'll show you later.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. Anyway, Obi-Wan is riding the same Eopie from the end of Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
that.
that's how he gets around.
Yeah, that's his friend.
Nice little Eopie camel thingy.
Yeah, this camel anteater thing.
Yeah. Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Hey, Grogu? Yeah, right. Boy.
Grogu.
You have anything else on episode 1? Because I got a few more things too, but...
I mean, just a logical issue. How does Nari find Obi-Wan in the desert when the Inquisitors can't find him? Because plot, I figure.
Yeah.
It's not like you can feel them, because then the Inquisitors could be able to feel Obi-Wan too, right?
And then I don't think he's too far outside whatever city he's at, Mos Eisley or whatever. I think it's Mos Eisley, but
yeah.
who knows?
Completely. All right, so I was struggling when to introduce this note, because it has something to do with episode 5 when we understand Reva's true motivations, right? So in episode 5, we understand that she wants to hunt Vader, and she wants to capture Obi-Wan to get close to Vader, and right, so the thing is, though, it conflicts with her representation or her portrayal in the first few episodes, where she's like almost a little too eager to kill people. You know what I mean? Like she's the most rabid out of all the Inquisitors.
She's reckless.
She's reckless, and she like wants to physically harm people. And she cuts off the lady's hand in episode 2, and she wants to,
that was episode 1. Pretty sure.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
That was episode 1. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so she's just way too ruthless, and when her whole motivation's revealed that she wants to get revenge on Vader for being ruthless and like killing her friends, that doesn't make sense to me. I know at the end she realizes the error of her ways and stuff, but like
she had no way to kind of like, since she was basically, we don't know how long after Order 66 that she was taken in by the Inquisitor program, so it could have been very soon, which would have made her not being able to grieve or get rid of that anger in any kind of way. Mm-hmm. But if it was a while after, I mean, she could have had time to process that, but also get in her head about it and be like, this is all I know. So like there's different ways where you can look at it where she is just broken beyond belief.
I get what you're saying, and it's like it's a very fine line, and I just happen to fall on the side where I don't really like that.
I understand that. Yeah. I completely get it. The confrontation with Owen and Obi-Wan. Mm-hmm. So he's like, you just want to train the boy like you did his father. I was like, oh, sick burn.
Yeah. Well, we actually haven't mentioned Leia in this episode, where she gets
her next. It's the most we ever see of Alderaan. First of all,
I thought I'm like, that's really cool, because it's important. It's important for these kind of ancillary shows to introduce or fill in the gaps for the bigger movies.
Yep. And
I think adding more characterization to Alderaan makes it all the more hurt when Alderaan's blown up in episode 4. Because, in the 70s, we didn't care. We didn't even know what this planet was. We just learned the name of it. But now we know there's Bael, there's his wife. Yeah. We know that bratty cousin of Leia's is on the planet.
You can do without him.
So we know more about the entire thing. It's granted it's little glimpses, which they can't give us everything, but we know roughly what's happening on the planet. So
we get to see Leia in her home element too, and so she's up to her old tricks still. She's like disappearing and going into the woods and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which is,
I thought it was very
just like
much
a kid,
Leia.
just like a kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Her mom finds her in the woods, takes her back. She gets bullied by her cousin, whatever, and then has a talk with Bail about how she doesn't think she's an Organa and all that stuff. And
that makes sense to her character. I think that's really nice because she
doesn't fit in.
Yeah, she's very much not like, she says that like, I don't want to be a senator. It's just like a bunch of people in itchy clothing that want to argue. And I'm like, well, one, you're right. But two, like, it's very much like the Arya Stark thing. She's like, that's not me thing. And then that's the reason why she would be the best senator. Like, she'd be just like her mom, like Leia, or Padme, I mean.
Yep. But then Leia gets she runs away again, just like, she doesn't run away. She like goes out to play basically, and then gets sacked by Flea of the Red Hot Chili
Flea from the Red Hot Chili. Like, what? Such a random. I said, like, is that Flea? Yeah. So whatever.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's where this episode basically ends.
Well, the episode ends when Obi-Wan decides to go out.
Yeah, he digs up the sabers.
Yeah, I thought that was a nice inclusion because and he still got Anakin's lightsaber. I'm like, oh. I mean, we knew that he would have it because in episode 4, but it's just nice to see that he's like holding on to that piece of Anakin.
Yeah, this was one of the best episodes of the show. This first episode,
I
very
definitely
well
agree.
done.
It's very much. Without the Leia stuff, it's very much what I wanted the whole show to be. Just an introspection on Obi-Wan, why I think it might have been a better movie, if I'm being honest. It was supposed to be a movie, and I think they added all this like kind of globe-trotting stuff,
it's
jumping around.
Like Star Wars. That's all.
It's Star Wars. I get it, but like, you want to be different, but different in a good way, Mm-hmm. So not Last Jedi different, where you want to destroy everything.
Yeah.
But different in where like you can do something different within the formula and stick within the tradition. So
I can agree.
You know what I mean? So like it's almost as if like the end of the show, spoiler alert, somebody shows up, I won't spoil too much. Somebody shows up and they go into like the canyon, and then Obi-Wan kind of it's implied that Obi-Wan's going to be more on an introspective journey afterward.
Yes.
That's what I think the show should have been.
Move on. The past is the past. That's the whole message of this show.
Right.
You need to move on with your life. You can't
hold on to that negative emotion, right? Yeah. That's the whole thing. So I like the message that they're including. And we'll get to it, but there's a lot
of keep saying that.
I know. But there's just a lot of stuff it's like there's so many great moments in this show, and then there's so many middling and bad moments, It's just,
all right, well, let's move on to part two. Dai was fucking sick, that planet.
I liked it.
Based on like Singapore or Hong Kong or whatever, one of those.
Yeah.
It's sick.
Yeah, it was very
cool.
It was supposed to be, I think it was like being 13th District 1313 without being Coruscant,
Yeah. Okay.
So it's like, it's just kind of trying to have their cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
Because they obviously can't go to Coruscant with the Obi-Wan show. He'd be a wanted, in that area. So, but the first thing that I noted was the old clone trooper,
Tamora Morrison. Yep.
That was such a good idea.
It was
to include him. And then the only way that they could have improved on it, and this is Jeremy Johns' idea. I don't want to take credit for it. He said it would be so cool when Reva puts the bounty on Obi-Wan's head, that the clone trooper gets into action because and starts hunting him because good soldiers follow orders.
Ooh.
That would be so cool if we see Tamora Morrison as a clone trooper fighting Obi-Wan.
Just Cody.
Yeah, it's just like, you know what I mean. That would be so cool. But
that would be cool. Yeah. We get Ewan McGregor's daughter in this episode as well.
Yeah,
She's
she
a
gives
spice
him,
dealer.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, I'm looking for my daughter. Ironic.
It's like, you found her.
Hey, you found her.
Here's some drugs.
Yikes. Yeah, that was a nice little addition. And then we get introduced to Kamal Nanjiani's character,
Haja.
Haja. Oh my God, Haja. Oh my God, Haja.
I'm not a fan of his character, but I admit it could have been worse.
It really could have been. There are so many worse characters in Star Wars than Haja.
Yeah, I'm just saying he's got like the quirkiness of like Kumail Nanjiani, and like I get it, we're gonna get that. But I think his whole idea as a character is a little bit dumb because it's like, as Jeremy Johns was saying, I watched his review, and he said the Jedi are basically terrorists. Why would you ever pretend to be a terrorist in this universe?
Make money.
But ISIS isn't going around being like,
but he's,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
true.
So it's like, I don't know. I didn't think it made too much sense.
I think the Jedi, I think if the Inquisitors even can, they'd be like, yeah, you're not a real Jedi. Get out of here. I don't think they would have cared anyway.
Well, that's exactly what happens in the episode.
Yeah.
So, which I don't agree with. I think he should have died. Reva should have killed him.
Nah,
but understanding her motivations
she's seeing
now.
red for Obi-Wan.
Yeah,
that's
just like Darth Vader. Yeah,
parallels are seamless.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Aja is just a fake Jedi using magnets to be, which I thought was weird.
Yeah.
I mean, it's different, but it's weird. I do like how Leia doesn't immediately trust Obi-Wan. Like she seems like she's more annoying, but that's Leia.
Yeah, Leia's. Well, she's. It's like, can somebody get this walking carpet out of my way? She's very sassy and and we realize she's always just been like that. And like, so it's not necessarily against her character.
Yeah, I heard a lot of flack early on in the show that like, oh, this Leia is awful. I'm just like, what do you mean?
It's nothing. Okay, I don't want to Jake Lloyd her, but she could be a better actress. She could. There are actors.
Dude, it's a kid.
Millie Bobby Brown exists. That's all I'm saying.
She was 12.
Millie Bobby Brown?
Yeah, when she started Stranger Things.
Okay, well, close enough, right?
This kid's like 7 or 8. It's 5 years difference.
Henry Thomas in E.T. Have you seen his casting, his audition?
No.
It's amazing, dude.
Yes, but they want to find a certain look for Leia, and I get it. And she definitely has the look, and she was the closest. She's the best of both worlds, basically.
Yeah, I admit she could be worse. She's not, and I feel bad because I'm bullying Jake Lloyd. She's not like Jake Lloyd because he was really bad in that movie. But I'm not attacking him as a person. I'm criticizing his performance, and I'm criticizing whatever her name is, her performance too. So
okay,
because like. I'll get to this. This is one of my final notes, but I'll kind of hint at it now. Star Wars should be handled with the utmost care at all times.
Yeah, I get it.
You know what I mean?
I get it.
So, but I'll get to that later. I have a whole rant I'm going to say at the end. So,
Christ,
be prepared.
So this note I have, there's some subtle like details in this episode that Reva is not one of them. So like it will not change what you are to us, the Grand Inquisitor said.
Oh.
Yeah, he said
What does that mean?
What do you think it means?
Wait, so he knows?
I think he knows.
He knows that like Reva. Well, okay, so Vader said like you think I did not know?
Yeah, I think Grand Inquisitor knew as well.
Okay.
That's what and that's immediately what got me thinking when I watched that for the first time that she's that girl in the flashback. I'm just like,
I figured.
It's gotta be, right? like yeah.
Like, who else would it be? Oh, it's just some random kids.
Oh, it will not change. Oh, sorry. There was more to that quote. It will not change what you are to us, the least of us.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Well, I definitely think she's, I don't see her rising above the ranks. Because, sure, she's got ambition, right? But if I'm the Grand Inquisitor, I'm going to be like, she's way too out of control.
Yeah.
We can't risk her being my successor. So that's why I think, the fourth brother is definitely more of a better, if we're talking like promotion wise,
Fifth brother.
A fifth brother. Yeah. Who's the fourth, whatever.
Anyway, so Obi-Wan rescues her by spicing the hell out of Flea and his gang.
Yeah.
So they go on the run. Reva and all of them find them or chasing them on the rooftops.
Yeah.
And
I do think the second half of this is kind of like drawn out with Leia running away, and but I do like how Reva is like a dog on a bone. She's really chasing Obi-Wan on the rooftops. Everyone's criticizing her parkour, which I don't love it, but it's like just get rid of the parkour stuff, and it's a perfectly fine chase scene, and that's what I like about like her. And I wish they almost didn't give her the motivation that later on where she wants to hunt Vader instead. And I think her just being singularly just wanting to attack Obi-Wan makes sense. Mm-hmm. And I like that about her in this episode.
Okay.
So
yeah.
Yeah. While we were watching back this, because we just did a little edit here. We noticed this like glare on his leg.
Yep. It's just kind of hanging out right here.
There's a window right here that we weren't able to put curtains on to block out the sun. So,
It's like we got two suns in here, like on Tatooine.
there we go.
Yeah.
Well, we are two suns. Okay.
We're just gonna.
I'll just stop.
Yeah, you'll just stop. Okay, so we get to this hangar where Obi-Wan is hiding. He tells Leia to get to the ship that they're going to get away on, so she's in there.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan is hiding from Reva, and Reva's like, he's alive, Obi-Wan.
Yes.
Anakin Skywalker is alive. I'm like, and I'm like, he's just like, oh fuck.
The last shot of this episode, most epic shot ever. It's
mixed with John Williams in there, baby.
Oh, it's just like, it's such an eerie score. It's like brr, brr, and it's
match
like
cut. It's
So the Grand Inquisitor gets stabbed in the chest, and when that first happened,
it wasn't the chest; it was the stomach.
The stomach, okay. Center mass, like right here.
Yeah.
When it first happened, I'm just like, what the fuck are they doing?
What are they doing?
They're messing with their own canon now. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's one thing you hate is messing with canon.
Because have a continuity, have a continuous story. You know what I mean?
I get it.
And they fix it later, but I think it's just fucking
why'd
dumb.
you say that? They fix it later.
They fix it later.
Yeah.
We know they do because he shows up in Rebels.
About one other part of it. Why were you secretive?
I forgot what I was saying, but.
All right, well,
or about that one thing I was trying to keep secret. So I would have, whatever.
Okay.
But it's just
all right,
so
moving
dumb.
on. We need to.
Qui-Gon's got to be pissed. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying.
Rolling in his grave.
Because we'll get to when Reva gets stabbed again.
Speaking of Qui-Gon, the start of episode part 3 is Master Qui-Gon. He's alive. What do I do? He's just like, oh fuck.
Yeah, it's just awesome seeing like Obi-Wan is like scared. He's just like, he's coming, Master. I'm like, oh shit.
And the assembling of Vader at the same time.
It's so, dude, it's so awesome. Like that whole suit up, the whole beginning of this episode is phenomenal. It's so good. It's like some of the best build up in a Star Wars movie I've ever seen, Mm-hmm. It's just so good. And then
we get the castle on Mustafar. We get it again finally after Rogue One.
Yeah.
I was like, yes.
Yeah. I'm so
I was so happy about that.
Yeah, same. And then in my opinion, and I'm always the sad sack or the one who brings up the actually guy, it's a little ruined for me. I think the set looks really cheap inside the castle.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But that's just because this was okay. So I saw something the other day about the budget of this show. It's the lowest budget of any like the Marvel TV shows and the Star Wars shows.
That should never be the case.
Yeah, it got
for this show
$90 million
particular.
for 6 episodes, and all the others had over like $120 million. So like, it's just it had such a low budget. Again, this is not confirmed or anything. This is something I saw. It would make sense though that this had a low budget.
So it was $90 million for the whole show.
The whole show.
Okay, if we're making a movie about Obi-Wan, it would get $250 million minimum. That's just what will happen.
It's just unfortunate.
So to think that this is an extended movie, what are you guys doing? You know what I mean? Like I said, I'll repeat it towards the end because I have that whole rant. Utmost care. Star Wars should be treated with the utmost care.
So we hear Vader talking to Reva in the castle there, and that is it is James Earl Jones, but it's not James Earl Jones. It's the AI that they end up using to recreate voices that Disney has. That's so cool that they have that ability to do that for James Earl Jones. That is such an iconic voice as Vader. Like, it sounds just like he did in the 70s, which is even cooler.
Yeah. And it's like they're really bringing it back, going classic Star Wars. It's really good.
More stuff for the last episode. It gets really cool. But,
yes. Oh, we'll get to that. But yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah, we move on to there, and now Leia and Obi-Wan are on this other planet. I don't know what the name of the planet is.
Mapuzo, I think.
It is Mapuzo. It is Mapuzo.
I think that's what it's called. Yeah. There's one more planet they go to that I forgot the name of, but
they start walking, and Obi-Wan starts seeing shit. He sees that faraway shot of Anakin, and I was like, it's so cool.
Yeah. And then like also it just plays into, it's a little bit of a like we've seen it before thing, but it's just being haunted by a person, but I think it works. Yeah.
Yep.
I think it worked.
And then we get, Zach Braff of all people.
I thought that was Seth Rogen for a second.
We both thought it was Seth Rogen.
It was Zach Braff playing Freck.
Yeah, voicing Frack. And then he picks up these stormtroopers while Leia and Obi-Wan are in the back. And it's a very awkward scene. It kind of resembles him being on the transport back to in episode 1. He's going back and forth, like from work.
Yeah.
It kind of resembles that a little bit.
I like what was his name? Freck or Frack?
Freck.
Is it Freck?
Frickin' Freck. I don't know.
Frickin' Freck. Anyway, the guy, he's I like his inclusion because like it just like he's a regular citizen of the, so he's like, the Empire, nothing wrong with a little bit of order.
He's a supporter. Yeah.
He's a supporter. So it's interesting to see, like, instead of being like the clone troopers who are like literally designed to be pro Empire, these are just normal people who just agree with it. So interesting perspective. We've never seen that before.
I like that was there.
Yeah.
We get to see the Fortress Inquisitorius, I believe it's called, right?
Yeah. I thought that's where most of their budget went, I think.
I think so, too.
Because it looks so cinematic.
It does look very cinematic. Not as good as the game Fallen Order, but it does look very good. But all the Inquisitors have to have this, like, dick measuring contest of who's the best and who is going to be like Vader's number 2, the Grand Inquisitor, after this next one inevitably gets killed or whatever. Like the fifth brother especially is just like, it's mine, the throne is mine or whatever. Like this whole shit. It's like, okay, calm down, guys.
Chill out, buddy.
Yeah, chill out, bro.
But like I say, he's probably the best role. I'm not sure. There's a lot more. I think there's 9 Inquisitors, so there's like a few more that we haven't seen.
When they're at their full might, there's 9 of them, or
I think there's 9 total that have been created.
Okay.
We saw the second sister and the 9th sister in Fallen Order. Grand Inquisitor is the first brother. Third sister, Reva. Fourth, whatever. We don't know.
There are some in the comics too, though. So I haven't seen.
5th brother, and I think she's the 7th sister. I may be wrong about that. The one who kind of replaces Reva in this show.
Yeah. While they're on that transport, Obi-Wan mentions he has a brother. He might have had a brother.
Oh, yeah.
That never came to fruition. And I was like, interesting. I always theorized it's Owen. I theorized that because...
Really?
The original script for A New Hope, I believe Owen was supposed to be his brother.
Oh.
Like, it obviously never came to fruition.
Yeah, they never,
But I'm pretty sure I remember reading that somewhere. I was like, that would make a lot of sense.
That's a cool little nod then to the original script.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I knew it wasn't going to go anywhere because his brother doesn't show up anywhere else.
Season 2?
The quest to find Obi-Wan's brother?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
But he's not. We know that he's
unresolved in the show. So
yeah, unless he's like really important. I don't know. That'd be weird.
Maybe he's an Inquisitor.
Well, no, he's not Force sensitive because he would have been taken by the Jedi along with Obi-Wan, right?
He's a baby though. You wouldn't know.
How do they know Obi-Wan was?
He was a kid. He was like 4 or 5 probably.
I don't know.
Same thing. Anakin was also he was like 10. So.
Well, yeah. Anakin was too old though.
Oh.
Yeah, because he was like too old. The boy is to train.
Then we get this fight scene with they obviously find out like, oh, because the drone droid thingy sees Obi-Wan.
Yeah, it's found him, and then it sent the signal through.
They start killing them all. The nice stormtroopers like cut in half from the lasers.
I thought that was really
nice nod to Maul.
Yeah.
And then
wherever Obi-Wan goes, he cuts people in half.
Seriously. And then one of them is holding Leia, and then he's going to put it down, and then he just barely misses Leia's face with that shot.
Yeah.
I'm like,
oh
my
damn,
God,
he must
that
have been
is ballsy.
practicing hard in the desert, which is like with his like quick draw. Because like I've shot a gun before, it's very hard to like do that,
Ballsy. Tala shows up with other stormtroopers, kills them because she's the good guy. So she brings Obi-Wan and Leia back.
Okay,
it kind of makes sense that she's undercover though. Like she's
yeah. I know. Tala's fine, but it's like it's just the times. I knew for a fact. Like the second I saw her, I'm like, she's gonna be a good guy. I just knew it because that's how Disney is.
Hey.
But I do like the perspective that she started off genuinely for the Empire. And then she's like, maybe we're the bad guys. And like we see like the higher ranking officers kind of turning on this. So I wonder how many other people are like that,
And she's part of the path. So she helps all these Jedi Force sensitive people pass through undetected.
Right.
So it's a really cool concept. And apparently
it's like the Underground Railroad for the Jedi.
And Quinlan Voss was apparently involved there too.
Dude, yeah, I had a talk with somebody today, like who you think would be a good if they bring him into live action, who would be a good actor to play him, and I have genuinely no idea.
We all thought it was going to be what's his face?
I thought it was going to be O'Shea Jackson Jr.
O'Shea Jackson
for a second.
Jr.'s, yeah.
But like he hasn't he'd have to be like no offense to O'Shea Jackson Jr., but he's not the buffest guy. So,
but I mean, again, it's been years since they've seen him, so
yeah, he's just like
he could have let himself go.
He let himself go.
Hey, you never know, but like that would have been really cool. Like he poked fun at it on Twitter too. He's like, "Oh, if you hate Reva, then you're gonna hate my character." It's like that was. I was like, "Oh shit, is he actually Quinlan?" That would have been really cool. But no,
I don't. I think
he plays Roken.
Yeah. I think if you have a casting person for,
I didn't even think about it. I haven't thought about it.
It's sad, but the only thing that's coming to my mind is like Jaden Smith. You know what I mean?
Young.
Yeah, I think he's a little too young. You know what?
Jason Momoa.
I think he's a little too old.
Yeah.
I think he's a little too old and a little too big.
I swear to God, if you say The Rock.
No, not The Rock. No.
Jesus Christ, I would have cried.
No, but you know who I'm thinking? Maybe Corbin Blue? And I'm only saying that just because of the fro. He's got the hair for it.
I don't know if he still has the hair, though.
Oh, he doesn't?
I don't know if he does.
Nah, never mind. But he looks the part. From
maybe we'll theorize that another time. I can't really think of anybody on the spot right now.
Yeah.
I did not expect to have this conversation. So
my iPad keeps turning off because I'm on low power mode.
Vader comes in like a fucking wrecking ball.
So that's the thing about the show.
Choke, snap, and slash. He's just going.
This show knows how to do Vader.
Dude,
ruthless.
Disney knows how to do Vader.
Yeah. Fucking.
Oh my God.
Like, it's just like he's like just him walking. Like, I like, everyone. I watched this video. They were criticizing the way they shot the whole scene with Anakin or Darth Vader walking down like the town in between the houses or whatever where Obi-Wan's hiding and he's like dragging everyone. It's all shot in wide shots. I think that makes him look scarier because it's like he's like in plain view of just killing people and just
it's an outside perspective and you're just like, oh my,
we're like this guy is fucking
nuts. Yeah, and then like he sent Obi-Wan's like, I'll distract him, and then he senses him. He just looks right at the camera. He's like. Oh, that's terrifying. Like,
I think that that's one of the few scenes that I'm going to go back to and still be like really like, oh shit. Like I feel the suspense and like that was a very well done scene.
Yeah, and then so Obi-Wan's running away and we see the lightsaber draw. And I'm just like,
I'm like, are we going to get the rematch of the century now?
In the third episode?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, which we didn't.
But I am what you made me. That line. Ooh. Okay,
so this is when my writing brain comes into action. Obi-Wan is already like on the not the defensive, but he's already made up his mind about what Anakin is. So what have you become? You know, like, how dare you? Or like, he's kind of like disapproving of, like, you know, I'm missing the word, but I think Obi-Wan in this moment, in this episode, should be completely terrified. And they do a little bit of that when he just like straight up runs away. You know, he's just like,
he doesn't want to face him.
I'm not going to fight this. You know, I'm scared of this guy right now.
Yeah.
But then he says, like, what have you become, kind of taunting him. And I'm like, that doesn't sound too in line with where I thought Obi-Wan was emotionally. I thought he'd be like he'd be terrified of Vader, right? I mean, he just saw him kill a little kid.
Yeah, he's terrified, but he's still also hoping that it's still his friend. He's like, what have you become? Why are you doing this? That's what he means by that. Like,
I mean, I get what you're saying, but I just felt like McGregor didn't deliver it that way. He was just like, what have you become? Like, ugh.
Well, I mean, he was his master.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like,
Let's move on. Okay.
But I am what you made me is such a good, like, because you can interpret that many different ways. Like, you can literally be like, this is what you did to me physically. This is what this happened to me. I became Darth Vader because of your training, and I think that's more what it's meant to be.
Yeah.
But you know,
but yeah, Obi-Wan's pretty weak in this episode. He's getting like
he gets his ass kicked. Yeah, yeah, and you know,
burned. Oh my god.
Yes, and I thought that was such a perfect, like,
baller move,
Vader thing. You know what I mean? Like, because he's so like, I'm going to be petty for a second. And I'm just going to show you what it was like.
Fucking suffer.
Yeah, exactly. Because he's like, he wants Obi-Wan to feel his pain. I'm just like, oh, such a good inclusion for that. Mm-hmm. But then again, we get these great moments, and then they're ruined by stupid logical errors. Because like 2 seconds before the flame shows up dividing them, right? Vader's just like dragging Obi-Wan in the fire, and then he puts it out, and then another fire comes up, and it's slightly bigger, but it's not like the Force can't go through the fire and take Obi-Wan again.
The thing is,
and I know what you're gonna say,
he likes to like play with him. Like, he wants to drag it out as much as he can. Like, he knows he has nowhere to run. So like, he's going to find him, and he wants to torture him over a period of time, not kill him right at once.
Right. I get that. And I knew you were going to say that. But isn't it sad that we have to come up with the explanation for that? We us as fans have to be like, well, maybe it's because of this, and maybe it's because of that. It's not explained in the show.
It's speculation.
I get that, but like logic. Okay, if you want,
but it makes you think, though, doesn't it? It makes you think. He's like, why would he do this? Oh fuck, that's why. So like, they're leaving it to us to try to, like, you know, figure it out for ourselves, and I like that. It's different. Like, you don't see it too often, and like, it's not a bad thing. You're making it sound to be a bad thing.
I think it's a bad thing. That's because I think it's a bad thing. So I don't know. It's just like,
the thing I think is bad is how the fuck did Tala get there so fast?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Here's how I would have fixed the scene. I actually wrote it down in my notes. Oh, also, Obi-Wan should have been pleading with Vader, saying something like, Anakin, please, when he was in the fire. And then that would piss off Vader even more, and he would get the tunnel vision, and he'd want to, like, you know, burn him even more. And he'd be like, Anakin, please, because Obi-Wan thinks Anakin is still alive in there somewhere, right? Mm-hmm. So more emotional stuff. And then that would leave his guard down for Tala to shoot Vader, hitting him off guard and giving the droid enough time to grab Obi-Wan. Mm. That's all I'm saying. I think that would have been a better execution of the scene.
It's not a bad idea.
So what you're saying, I think it's okay. It's fine, but like logically, it just doesn't make any sense to me sometimes, or like in a way. But if you can explain it the way by Vader wants to play with his food and do that. So yeah,
it's like an animal.
Yes.
Anyway, all right. Anything else on this episode?
I think that's it, yeah.
All right. Moving on to part 4. So we start off in the back to tank for both of them. So,
yeah. Which I thought, okay, I missed that part. I think that's a nice kind of parallel there where they're going back and forth between the two, and like, you know, Obi-Wan is feeling what Vader felt, And that's a good inclusion. I'll give it a fair shot. I didn't write that down in my notes.
Yeah, it's also like one of the same models, like sort of that Luke was in episode 5. So like, it's kind of very similar model. Not like the one that Boba Fett was in Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, that one's like
That's more
laying down, and then this one's standing up, right?
Yeah, it's kind of just like the one Luke was in. Cool nod.
Overall, though, this episode I wrote in my
3?
first note, episode 4.
Oh, okay.
Waste of time.
Side quest.
Definitely side quest. Leia gets captured again.
I agree.
And Obi-Wan has to rescue her again.
I agree. But there were some good moments in this episode. The great scene between Leia and Reva, like it showed more depth to Reva's character and like how she's kind of more fractured and stuff like that. And then she also plants the bug on Lola, which is kind of funny. But she's still aggressive. Like she doesn't want to necessarily hurt Leia, but like she'll do what she has to do.
And like, yeah, I mean, they're not going to torture a little kid. It's Disney.
Well, they were about to.
They're about to. I never believed it for a second that they would, because it's Disney.
Yeah.
But another thing in that, and this is like, you're going to be like, well, I know you're going to have some sort of explanation, but that's okay. Disney forgot how lightsabers work.
Okay.
So since The Force Awakens, I felt like they were already low powered. So like,
even in that fucking snow scene.
in the snow, okay. Rey fucking slashes at Ben's face. Mm-hmm. Kylo Ren slashes Finn's spinal cord.
Yeah.
And like she pokes him a little bit with the lightsaber and like kind of
right there, yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay. You'd think if this were like OG Star Wars, Finn would be paralyzed at the very least. Kylo Ren wouldn't have an arm, and he would have a way more mutilated face scar or something like that. And then in this one, literally, it looks like Obi-Wan is using the lightsaber as a bat. In the first Stormtrooper, he goes like, it hits him in the chest, and then it bounces back.
Yeah, I think that was just an editing mistake. I don't think that was...
I hope to God it was.
Yeah,
because if they say that's legit how lightsabers work, that's just wrong.
I don't think that's what they're getting at. I do think that was an absolute editing mistake.
Okay.
But I mean, it was still pretty cool that the lights went out and he rescued her like that. It was still pretty cool.
That's a concept. The direction, the concept of it was good. And the execution, though, it just wasn't there. You know what I mean? So it's like
I do know what I mean. Yes. Yeah. I agree with you on that.
I've nothing but criticism for this episode. I forgot to mention the back to tank thing. That's a good inclusion.
And maybe I'll go. You say good, bad, good, bad.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
All right. He regains most of his force abilities in this episode. So he gets the strength back when he's holding back the water and everything. So it shows more of his character coming back to full form. Like over time, he's regaining these powers and becoming more of himself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's good. We're seeing the ramp up. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously we got to ramp up his powers so we get the rematch of the century, right?
Yes.
That's what we want.
Okay, your turn.
In my last note for this episode, 2 notes. This time Vader is inconsistent and just goes back on his word when threatening Reva's life. So he says, if you fail me one more time, you'll be dead, right? And then she fails one more time. And then she makes up with some dumb excuse like, there's a tracker on the ship.
Because she knows that he's seeing red as well. He only wants Obi-Wan.
Right. The thing is, though, if I'm Vader, Anakin had a tactical mind.
We see that in the last 2 episodes. Spoiler.
I know. But if I'm Vader, she just gave away her hand. Just be like, oh, there's a tracker? Cool. Well, I'm going to use that information. Kill her.
But he still found her useful.
How is he finding her useful after she revealed that information? I genuinely do not understand. It would make more sense. She's just like, only I have the receiver, the transmitter, or whatever for the tracker. But then if I'm Vader, I would still torture the crap out of her to get that information so then I can kill her.
Maybe because he doesn't want to waste his energy going down there just yet and leave her, see if she dies first, and then he'll go down there and like. I think he was betting on her dying down there first.
Maybe.
in episode 5, but we'll get to that.
I hate that you're such a.
I do understand where you're coming from, and it is kind of shitty.
Yeah. This isn't even just me bringing this up. This is like so many different fans have pointed this out.
There's other fans that are agreeing with me on this as well. So
right, and I get it. So you're more of like just enjoy it for what it is, headcanon stuff, and I get that. But I'll say it later.
The good thing, the fucking tomb.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the tomb,
dude. Sick.
Yeah. So are they alive or dead?
So I mean, remember that one episode of Clone Wars where what's her face guided them and then ended up being dead the whole time?
What? In Clone Wars?
It was Clone Wars or is it Rebels? Where what's her face? The one of the Jedi. Oh my god, I can't remember her name. She was green.
Luminara Unduli?
Yeah, Luminara. She kind of led them.
Oh yeah.
And she ended up being dead the whole time.
Yeah, it was like a trap by the Grand Inquisitor. Yeah.
That's
so
what
like
that is, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, they're using them to get other Jedi to lure them out.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's a nice nod. It's a really subtle nod. That's what I think it is. I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, this is based on me watching New Rockstars and stuff, but, like, it does make sense that...
It's funny. You're on, like, the pro-Disney Star Wars side, and I'm on, like, the anti-Disney Star Wars side.
Yes, you are. That works for this podcast. Yeah. So, and then, obviously, Vader being ruthless and choking the shit out of Reva. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So... That's basically it. So they rescue them. Oh my god, we forgot the under the fucking cape thing, the Disney thing where Leia's under the cape.
Oh my god, it was so dumb.
But that's Star Wars though. Star Wars does that kind of shit. Though.
I'll give it that one because that's like they've always done schlocky stuff like that. Yeah. So
the Scooby Doo campy stuff. Yeah.
It's fine.
So that one I'm okay with. But yes, they escape. They're on one of the dudes dies. I don't even remember his name.
He's in literally one scene, and we're supposed to give a shit. Like
I don't remember his name.
Wade, I think.
Wade, yeah.
I'm surprised I remembered that. It's so fucking dumb.
All right. But yeah, so this is probably the weakest episode of the series, I want to say.
Yeah. Like I said, waste of time.
But there were cool things.
You brought up some decent points, so I'll give it that.
Thank you.
Not completely a waste of time.
All right. Part 5. Part 5, starting with the goddamn flashback. Oh my god, I was so happy.
We got it.
You're just as beautiful as the day I lost you.
It was So
pre-Clone Wars. Pre-Clone
Wars.
This was pre-Clone Wars. Yes.
It's not exactly what I wanted because this a flashback with them during the Clone Wars was on my bucket list for the show. It's not exactly what we got, but I still like that they were able to do something with it.
Yeah, you notice how he's staring out at where Padme still is living?
I didn't notice that.
He's staring out at, yeah.
That's awesome, yeah. So and actually, that brings up a good point because I just got the new book, Star Wars Brotherhood, which is sort of like a companion piece with this show. Like a little bit, it's in that era with this flashback. And Mike Chen never misses an opportunity to bring up the fact that Anakin loves Padme and a little bit of Obi-Wan and Satine's relationship. So I'm glad that's more canon.
I do want to see more of that.
Yeah. And so I like that, Padme's an important part of Anakin's story. And I feel that's kind of more overshadowed by the relationship with Obi-Wan. But Padme is still a very important part to that. So I'm glad they included that.
Yes, agreed. Yeah, so these flashbacks seem to be from the perspective of Vader himself. So you can kind of get away with the bad CGI work on their face, but like they definitely de-age them a little bit, but not too much.
I'm really not that.
It doesn't bother me.
That never bothered me. Not even in Mandalorian with Luke. It doesn't. I don't really care as long as you're getting. It
definitely bothered you in Mandalorian season 2. I remember it bothered you because it was the mouth that bothered you a lot.
I mean, I don't feel that strongly about it now. So
cool. Yeah. Cool. We're past that.
we're past it.
All right. So they're getting tracked down. They get back to wherever this base is of theirs. Is it still on Mapu? It's not on Mapuzo. It's somewhere else. They set it. Oh, damn it.
Yeah, I don't know. You're talking about like the rebel base, right?
Wherever they are. Yeah.
I don't. That's the one planet I missed.
Anyway, it's revealed Reva was the youngling, so she's talking to Obi-Wan through the wall and everything.
Surprise, surprise. Yeah, she's
but
good.
We got a cool flashback of Revenge of the Sith Anakin.
Yeah,
too.
we get to see more Order 66 from Anakin's, from we say to see Anakin again.
It was Reva's perspective,
Yeah,
but yes, it's like, oh, got saw him in the hood and everything. It's like,
Yeah, I thought it was really nice because we only see like one close up shot of Anakin in Revenge of the Sith.
yeah, that's why he's going up the stairs.
Yeah, that's it. And then I think it's a quick shot of him with the younglings, but we don't see him like physically like doing the act and what he's feeling. And like
We saw it in this.
Yeah, and we see like
There was that warning at the beginning of the episode too. I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
Sure
really?
there was a warning at the beginning of that episode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought like it's nice to see we're adding to the lore what we've already seen, more dimension to what we've already seen. And like we see if someone's making fun of like the close up of Anakin and how he was like doing, I forgot who it was, but I think that's a good inclusion because we get to see Anakin going like, you know, kind of he doesn't want to do it, but he's still doing it, you know, and it's like,
Yep. It's the
great
struggle. Yeah. But yeah.
Stupid thing.
Then basically in between these flashbacks, yeah, so Reva ends up going in. Everybody begins retreating into the hangar bay, and Tala sacrifices herself, which was very Star Wars, very Rogue One-esque.
Yeah.
I loved that. I like Tala's character a lot.
I'm neutral on her. I like her inclusion. So,
But Ned B. What if he had something to say? Remember that line that Leia said in episode 3?
yeah,
Yeah. Oh.
yeah.
Poor Ned B.
Poor guy.
But yeah,
Poor droid.
back to the flashback. Obi-Wan wins. Vader learns from this to watch his back. So after they try to escape and everything, or they escape in... We get the really cool shot of Vader pulling down the ship.
Yeah, doesn't break a sweat. I'm just
Dude,
like, oh, that's
that was
awesome.
so cool.
Yeah.
But then they end up getting away anyway. And the other
Yeah.
ship that's behind it, conveniently.
Yeah.
Shocker. Yeah, even did you notice when he pulled it down? Like he's ripping out the entire side. He had no care for anybody else but Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
He would have killed everyone in there.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like absolute carnage.
Yeah, I thought it was a good inclusion.
Yeah. Okay, back to what I was saying. I totally lost my flow there. But yeah. So Reva tries to attack Vader from behind. He learns from that mistake he made against his old master and stabs Reva in the same place he did before.
Yeah.
So-
and
Yeah.
I want to take a pause
Yeah.
right there. I just want to mention the flashback. The meaning of the flashback is all about just explaining. So we thought, what do I want to say here? Okay, I thought that I want this show, and I think the show should be about the brother relationship between Anakin and Obi-Wan. We didn't get that. What we did get is the master and apprentice role. And I like that the flashback at least incorporated why Vader will always be the apprentice, and eventually we'll get more. I mean, that lends credence to the episode 4, or like New Hope. Yeah, so I just liked that the meaning of the flashback had a theme to it, you know. But yeah. On to the Vader Reva fight, which he just fucking taunts her.
Yeah, he doesn't even bother pulling out his lightsaber. He just used the Force to block stuff and everything, and just like get out of the way. It's like, you think you can go after me?
Yeah, it's so cool.
And it's like he's taunting her, and then
it's
he
like
takes her lightsaber, snaps it in half, and I thought he was gonna dooku her. Oh my god!
dude, so that's what I think should have happened. Because I've already brought up, he should have killed her when she failed to when Obi-Wan rescued Leia the second time. Now he has the perfect opportunity to chop her head off like Dooku. He's already proven that he's physically capable and emotionally capable of doing that. He killed a little kid earlier in this season.
Yes,
but he stabs her in the gut, and sure, poetic
spot.
Poetic, justice or whatever. But like, come on,
he didn't care.
Come on.
But listen, he didn't care enough to even draw his lightsaber. He doesn't care enough to let her, like, she's got to live with herself, knowing that like she's not good. She's not good enough for him, I guess, something like that.
She's not as strong.
She's not as strong as him, and she never will be. and she's got to live with that fact, and that's why he did that. That's a new Rockstar's thing. That's not me. But it's a pretty good explanation. But like, I get it. I don't like it. I do not like this part.
Okay, you're entitled to your opinion. I'm just saying, it makes zero sense to me how the Grand Inquisitor survives a stab to the gut.
Oh yeah,
Reva survives as a child a stab to the gut. She survives another stab to the gut when she should have been beheaded. And then Qui-Gon's dead.
She got big plot armor, bro.
Dude, I know. But it's, oh my God, it's so bad. It infuriates me to my core. The amount of just...
Revenge does wonders for the will to live.
Bullshit reason.
Don't you think?
Bullshit explanation. That's so fucking dumb. Like, listen, it's Disney Star Wars. It's Disney Star Wars. That's all I can say. It's...
Okay, moving on to episode 6 here.
So okay, but overall the episode is good because we got like cheer-worthy moments, and that's my feeling about this show. And we get more of the same in episode 6, but this is the one that really exemplifies like we have some really great moments and we have some really fucking stupid and dumb moments.
Yep.
Yeah, but anyway, on to episode 6.
You good?
We will find out if I'm good.
Okay. So episode 6 starts on the back on the ship where they're being chased by Vader, and Obi-Wan has to leave. Leia doesn't want him to leave. Shocker. But then he says this thing, you are the future. You are all the future. Mm-hmm. You are the ones that matter the most. I don't. So like he's making the sacrificing play by luring Vader off the trail of them and all that stuff. And I love that.
Yeah. And then so now we're starting to see Ewan McGregor Obi-Wan turn into Alec Guinness Obi-Wan. Mm-hmm. Like his kind of like at peace and like hopeful for the future Obi-Wan, you know?
Yes.
And so I think so that's the start of that's where we kind of begin the fight, which we'll get to.
Moving on to Reva, she ends up on Tatooine somehow very quickly.
Fucking stupid.
Very quickly.
Fucking stupid. How does she get there with no support? By the way, in the last episode, Vader breaks apart her lightsaber. He breaks it. And then after she's stabbed, it's all of a sudden put back together and just left there for her. Fucking stupid. Okay.
I didn't even think about the lightsaber. I did not even think about that.
Yeah, I didn't. Nobody else is talking about that either.
Yeah, it's big plot armor. Because plot.
Yeah, and then she ends up on Tatooine just because.
Yeah. So Owen is warned by one of these other moisture farmers that like someone's coming for you.
Yeah.
Hide. And Beru starts unpacking all these damn weapons. I'm like, what the fuck?
I wrote in my notes, like, Beru's a badass.
Damn, Beru.
And also, I like this little tiny inclusion. She's like, where Owen says, Ben's not here to help. And then she's just like, whose fault is that? You know, like, I like how there's, I like how there's like an argument there, and like it just adds more dimension to that story.
And I like how they've meticulously planned out for this too. Like Luke has training to know what to do and stuff like that in case of emergencies like this. They have like a fire drill type of thing, like a fire plan, like an evacuation plan from your house.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's something like that.
The Tusken Raiders are back; they're coming to kill you.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that moon that Obi-Wan lands on, it was Mustafar at first. I'm like, oh wait, that's not Mustafar, but it's some kind of moon. That's all we know about this planet that they're on.
Yeah.
So
Vader is single-minded, and he goes after Kenobi, which I like, even at the behest of the Grand Inquisitor. I like that the Grand Inquisitor feels that he has a little more stability against Vader. He's kind of like the lesser version of Grand Moff Tarkin. I like that there's kind of discourse between the two. So
I'm surprised we didn't get Tarkin in this. Or where was he?
He's probably on the Death Star.
Oh, you're right.
Or he's probably overseeing the building of the Death Star by this point.
You're right. Yeah, so we briefly went over Grandy there for a second in the end of the last episode, but his species has 2 stomachs. That's why he survived. That makes sense. He can live without one of them. So
fine, I'll give it to you.
That
whatever.
one is
Qui-Gon's dead though, so it's
Okay. Okay.
I'm just saying.
He's a
it's
human.
just-
Okay. Anyway, back to this
me off
episode.
to no end.
I will do what I must.
Yes. Great callback. I love that line.
And you will die.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, it's so like, if you're not with me, then you're my enemy.
Very
Only-
Ahsoka versus Vader in Rebels. Like it's
Yeah.
like a mirror of that
Yeah.
episode in this. And it's so cool the way they do it. Like
and, yeah.
like they start going at it. The guerrilla filmmaking they've had this whole series. It's kind of jarring at first, but like a very war type movie, like guerrilla filmmaking.
Yeah.
But it works.
It works for this fight. Yeah.
It does.
I'll give it that.
It works very well for this fight. And then Vader somehow stomps the ground and then like puts him into a hole, then starts
Yep.
throwing these rocks at him. I'm like, what is this?
Well,
Holy shit.
Vader learned his lesson.
Yeah.
Vader, he has the high ground now.
He definitely has the high ground.
And like, I just love that inclusion. Going back to, I will do what I must. Oh, I hit the mic. Listen, I love that line inclusion. And the emotion in me is saying like, that's such a good idea. Logic though, where Obi-Wan should be emotionally or is in this moment is he should be pleading with Anakin, being like, there's still my friend is still in there somewhere. You know what I mean? So in the first fight, he should be terrified, like, fuck, that's Vader. And then the second fight, after he's learned that like Anakin is still in there somewhere, he should be being like, like Anakin, like, what are we doing here? There's still good in you. And that would lend credence to the line in episode 6, or Return of the Jedi, I mean, where he's like, Obi-Wan once thought as you do. Or like when he's talking to Luke. So that would make sense. And I think that would be a better inclusion. But I'm not saying like what they did was bad. I still think it was very, very well placed. So that's all I'm saying.
So he's under this pile of fucking moon rocks, and he summons the Force to officially make him all-powerful Super Saiyan.
Super Saiyan Jedi.
Super Saiyan Jedi, but it's because of Luke and Leia. He knows he has...
He's like, they're the future,
They are the
right?
future.
Yeah. He gives himself a
You're
pep
all
talk.
the future. And
Yeah.
he has to do this for them. Mm-hmm. So he faces Vader, comes at him from the backside, and Vader's like, wait a minute. Oh, shit.
And like, I like it's kind of a nice callback in this show to when Vader snuck up on Obi-Wan,
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, he fucks Vader up. Fucks
Yeah.
up his breathing apparatus, fucks the helmet. Oh, it was so cool. And then I got the quote right here. I'm sorry, Anakin, for all of it. I'm not your failure, Obi-Wan. Oh my God. Like, dude, I was just like, and then the blue lightsaber on his face, like that's actually Anakin talking.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is so good.
dude,
You didn't kill Anakin Skywalker. I did.
yeah.
Oh.
So great. And this is hands down the best scene in the show.
Chills.
Literal chills. That's all I wanted from the show, and they delivered it. And like, so I can't be mad at them. I can't be too mad at them.
No. John Williams as well in that moment too. Like,
Yeah.
Oh my
yeah, the
God.
music swells and stuff, but like the voice apparatus mixing with Vader's
oh my
voice
God,
and
the
Anakin's voice.
mixing.
Yeah.
Chef's
It's
kiss.
so good.
Chef's kiss, dude. Oh my God.
It's just, and like we get closure on Obi-Wan's story or arc when he's like saying, I'm sorry, Anakin, for all of it. And then, so he's like, I blame myself for it.
Goodbye, Darth.
Yeah. And then he's just like, you're Darth now. And like, which it's,
That's why he calls him Darth in New Hope.
yeah. But Darth Vader lets him off the hook emotionally, saying, because Obi-Wan always thought, Obi-Wan! He always thought that Anakin was his failure.
Yeah.
And then he's saying, no, Darth Vader killed Anakin. And I'm like, that's all he needed to hear. And it's just such a good, that's the relationship
That's the
I
storytelling
wanted.
we need.
That's what I wanted. Yeah. And they really delivered that there.
Other parts of this episode. So after that, what was I kind of forgot the B plot of this episode. Yeah, they all kind of get back. So Leia's back and everything.
Yeah, well, the whole B plot of this is that, Riva is going
Riva,
after
I
Luke.
forgot- yeah,
we don't
she-
give a shit about it, right? Like I don't care.
The whole B plot with Luke, I did not give a flying fuck about.
Exactly.
Like, Luke's a little dumbass and falls off a cliff, but like,
yeah, he faints
like-
or whatever, and like
I get where they're coming from, and it's not needed all the scene, but like the explanation for that scene is she's trying to kill her former self. That is
yes,
all she needed to do, but she couldn't even do it. So that's where that ends.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan gets back to Tatooine real fucking quick as well.
yes, because plot,
So
At least he has a ship that we see him fly instead of Riva, who just teleports there.
yeah.
Jesus. But yeah, like so. You would agree if she died in episode 5, it would be all good.
It would have been fine. Yeah, we didn't need the Luke stuff, but we did get to see how much Beru and Owen actually care for Luke. That he is actually their own.
Yeah.
That is the good part about that B plot.
I do like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only redeeming quality of that B plot.
All we know about Owen is that he's kind of an asshole in the episode 1, but he like genuinely cares for Luke. So
Joel Edgerton.
yeah, so that's when this show shines, where it expands on what has already come before.
Yes. We get Vader back in the castle. We get Emperor Palpatine.
We get Palpy Paps.
Oh, there he is. We get little Ian McDiarmid. That was nice. We got the Imperial March that we've been wanting to.
Finally, I think what they were doing is kind of doing like a Casino Royale thing, where this isn't really Vader yet. He's still got a little bit Anakin, and after he says Vader killed Anakin, now he's Darth Vader. So I liked it. I liked that inclusion. I was wondering where it was the entire show, but
Yeah, so Obi-Wan goes back to see Leia first, gives her Padme's blaster holster, which was a nice touch.
it was Tala's.
You sure?
Yeah, it was because she showed like this is like I put a notch here every time I rescue one of the.
Oh shit, you're right.
Yeah.
James got that wrong, man.
Oh, James.
Yeah, or somebody did. I forgot who told me. I talked to
I'm
so
gonna
many
blame
people about
James
this.
anyway.
I'll put it on James. But like, I'm sorry, James, if it was not you. But yes, so it's Tala's blaster holster. Nice little nod there. Because she's like, oh, she's gonna be a fighter one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect origin for Leia, and like unlike how they did with like Solo, I like that it was not exactly like he didn't get everything, or she didn't get everything that's like core to her character. Like it's like it would have been dumb if they had like the curls for her at the end of this episode, being like, oh, she's fully the Leia that we knew, and she doesn't change for 9 years. There's still room for growth there.
Yeah, it's a nice send off. Like, there's one glaring plot hole there. Like, why does she say, "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. You served my father in the Clone Wars." Like, she doesn't even know him.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
It's just another. I
hole.
really don't see that as one of the more like that's one of the less severe plot holes to me, but it's definitely there.
The only thing I could think to explain that is that she doesn't know who this is gonna like come into contact with.
She wants to hide it from whoever.
Keep it under wraps.
Yeah,
But
I
got
it.
that snubbed down by Sean today. He's just like, "Oh, that wouldn't make sense because they know where this is going or whatever. Like, she knows that where R2's going or whatever. I don't know. He made some explanation.
Well, I mean,
have
like,
listened to.
it would still be as bad as information if getting the information of that she wants to team up with Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
That would already be just as bad as information to the Empire as telling this story of this show to him. I understand it. It doesn't make any sense either way.
All right.
But it's whatever.
Now, bring everything back full circle. Hello there. He
said the meme. He said the meme.
Deborah Chow knows what we want, ladies
Yes.
and gentlemen. Oh man. So Owen's like, "You want to meet Luke?" And like begrudgingly, he's like, "Oh, you want to meet him?"
It's just like, hey, you seem
And then-
sad. Let me cheer you up.
And he does his best Alec Guinness impression. Hello there. It was very well done.
Yeah.
Very well done. And then the icing on the cake. You can go ahead and say it.
I don't know what you mean.
The end of the show.
Oh, yeah, Qui-Gon.
Fucking dumbass.
It was my last note. So
Yeah.
yeah, Qui-Gon shows up And
Finally, it had been hinted at, like, Master,
yes.
where are you?
I'm so glad that Liam Neeson decided to show up on set for 2 minutes, and that's all we needed. You know,
Where have you? I've been waiting for you.
yeah. Well,
He's like,
and so I'm conflicted on the reasoning of why Obi-Wan finally sees Qui-Gon.
well, it takes a while for him to learn this thing, as Yoda said.
Yeah, so it's my understanding. It was my understanding at the end of episode 3. Yoda teaches Obi-Wan how to convene with Qui-Gon, and like that's the end of the story. But I guess he's been so depressed these entire 10 years, and he's been unable to, and he's detached himself from the Force.
Fractured.
Yeah, so he's very emotionally broken, and after this adventure, he's healed. He's found peace.
The mental hurdle that he had to overcome.
Yeah, I like that inclusion, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Couple things. It breaks canon a little bit. Because for some reason, in George Lucas said that Qui-Gon doesn't show up in the original trilogy because he hadn't mastered Qui-Gon never mastered the physical form of the Force Ghost, and sure that makes sense why he doesn't show up in the original trilogy. I understand that, but at the same time, I don't think he shows up because he's not like integral to Luke's story. You know, because like the 3 Force Ghosts at the end of Return of the Jedi, I get why each one of them they're there. Qui-Gon, or Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Yoda, they're all integral to Luke's story, right? So some random Liam Neeson guy showing up at the end of Return of the Jedi wouldn't make any sense. No. Yeah, so I'm okay with Qui-Gon showing up at the end of this series. That's all I'm saying.
I was just expecting a voice. I would have been fine with a voiceover. I would have been fine.
Okay.
I literally would have been fine. It's like, oh, there you are. Or something like that. And then cuts to black or something. It's like,
yeah, okay.
I was like, oh. So I want to get your opinion on this. So New Rockstars had this thing on their WikiLeaks thing recently. And it's Qui-Gon, was he helping Obi-Wan throughout this series, little by little, like helping Leia float a little bit, because he's very weak and stuff like that. But he had been flowing his way through him, and then also like with holding back all that water in the fucking.
Okay.
Could have been helping him out a lot.
At the beginning of episode 4, when he holds up the water, he can barely, in the beginning of the episode, he can barely move like a pencil or wherever he's moving.
He made like a sound to get those stormtroopers away or something like that.
Yeah.
That could have been him easily, but like he needs a little more to hold back the weight of the fucking ocean.
That could have been an explanation. I think that's a cool headcanon thing.
Definitely.
So that's something that doesn't that doesn't rely on that. You know, it still works. So
yeah. So I think that would. I like how they didn't really explain that, because that leaves it up to us to kind of like. That would also make sense, because they leave things up to us to interpret in this whole show. So
yeah. So do you see what I mean though? Like that doesn't. It's not like the show relying on that explanation.
Yes.
You know. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. That's the last thing I really had.
That's the last thing I have for this episode. I do have a lot of notes. Well, not a lot, but a decent amount of notes for the overall rating of the show and what I think the show does and doesn't do successfully.
The floor is yours.
Okay.
I'm going to just like try to pay attention the whole time.
Yeah, here we go. All right.
Okay, wait. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. The show is middling. It's not a dumpster fire like some are claiming, but not truly great by any means. I wanted more of a focus on the relationship between Obi-Wan and Anakin and what that means now that everything is broken. And I think that's what the show should have been. I mean, I think it's a huge missed opportunity that wasn't the focus of the show. I think the focus of the show was about Leia and Reva and just kind of like the plot of this show instead of the emotional journey that Obi-Wan should be going on.
There's a rumor out there that was added in last minute to the show. Like the whole Leia
and Reva thing?
Well, no, Reva was there from the beginning.
Okay.
But Leia, her whole arc was added in at the end and kind of intertwined with Reva.
I understand why it was there, because they have to get Obi-Wan off of Tatooine somehow. But I think there's a better way to do it. I think you could have the Inquisitors closing in on him on Tatooine, and he has to like lure them away from Luke, right? So you could find something to do with that. But there's this girl named Jay Stubbs, I think that's her name, on TikTok. She's pretty big. She's kind of part of the Soups, Straw Hat Goofy kind of, group of movie critics on TikTok.
Okay.
She brought up an excellent point about this is where she said this is the story that the writers have chosen to tell. And if it's not going exactly how you had it in your head, that's not the show's fault. That's your fault. I agree with it being in a sense of like, oh, I don't think Reva would have done this, or I don't think this would have happened exactly that particular way. So because disregarding inconsistencies with characters we already know, because I have a lot of problems with Vader's inconsistencies particularly. But I understand what she's saying in that sense. Like this is what the writers are doing, and if you don't like it, that's more your problem. I'm criticizing the premise of that. The starting point. I think they started off with the wrong idea, and that should have, like I said, that should have been Obi-Wan and Anakin's story instead of including this. You know what I mean? Instead of it being Obi-Wan coming back from the light, and it should have been more about Obi-Wan realizing Anakin's dead and more. So they did a little bit of it, I should say.
So you're saying it should have been a movie?
It should have been a movie, short to the point. It should have just been that one scene that was condensed, where like my friend is truly dead. That whole thing, that should have been the whole movie, and we got a glimpse of it. And it should have been more, and not with all this other nonsense. It's a little insulting, but nonsense isn't quite the word. But
yeah, I understand your rationale.
Yeah. The episode 5 flashbacks are a good start, but not nearly enough of what the story should have been from the start.
Okay.
Some people would say, aren't you glad they're making Star Wars? And it's that I say no. Because Star Wars has always been special. It should be handled with the utmost respect and care every time anything Star Wars is shown on screen. And Disney has proven to be playing fast and loose with Star Wars itself, and they're creatively bankrupt in a lot of ways.
Okay, so they shouldn't play fast and loose with the original characters, like the legacy characters.
At the very least,
they can do whatever they want with whoever else they want. Like Reva, full reign, do what they want with her, because she was never really in this until now. So, like, I understand why they kind of made her the way they did, just because of that. And yet, they didn't really mess too much with Obi-Wan. I mean, they didn't absolutely ruin him like I think they ruined Luke. They didn't. They definitely didn't ruin Vader.
Yeah, no, Vader is done very well.
But who else are the legacy ones there? Leia is Leia.
Bail,
Luke is
technically.
Luke. Bail is Bail. They're all of themselves. All the other things are new characters.
I'll argue Bail is kind of an idiot in this.
He's a dad.
That's a different point. I should have mentioned that earlier. But Bail, he's like, he leaves the fucking message on the tracker thing, and then Obi-Wan happens to drop it.
Yeah, there's a lot of happenstance happening in the show.
Right, yeah.
There's a lot of plot armor, a lot of happenstance, and that is where this show kind of fails, and I understand that.
I'm not necessarily completely upset about Reva. I don't think she's the worst character ever written in Star Wars.
Just like Haja.
Yeah, Haja is not.
He's the comedic relief.
He's the comedic relief. I get it. Yeah.
I talked with Alyssa about that earlier today. So yeah.
He's perfectly fine. It's but Reva, like, she's just a middling character. She embodies my feelings on this show. I don't love it. I don't hate it. But the thing is about this is that I still watch Revenge of the Sith over and over and over again. Religiously.
Not because of your own choice.
It's a tradition at this point. But are we honestly going to, like, Star Wars has lived in the zeitgeist for 40 years. And in the past 7 years, it's been divisive to say the least. So do you really think that we I know that I'm not, or people in general are going to go back to this series as many times as Revenge of the Sith has endured.
No, but every generation has divisiveness, like the original trilogy versus the prequels versus the sequels, and then even more so the original trilogy versus the sequels. So like every generation has their gripes, and I think it's just more divisive now because we have so much more media out there nowadays, so much more, just internet access. There's a lot of
it's everywhere.
and stuff going around.
Yeah.
So we are one of those. That is all our opinions.
We're reporting on this right now.
The fuck are
We're
we?
talking about it, right? We're putting it into the zeitgeist. So, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
It's just, I just don't feel like this is special like the rest of the original saga is. And that's just my feelings on it. If anyone who genuinely does feel that this is the best possible series that they could have made, I am happy for you. But it's just, Disney Star Wars just hasn't been for me. Like, the best thing that they've made is Mandalorian Season 1.
Rogue One?
Oh, Rogue One. Yeah, Rogue One, I think, is one of the best Disney Star Wars movies. Yeah, but that's mostly because of Vader. If I'm being honest, they finally gave us that badass Vader scene.
And
so,
a real war movie for Star Wars. So
I like that. So you see what they did with that one is it's a new idea in the vein of Star Wars.
Characters, except for Saw Gerrera, but yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, they walked the line of honoring the original trilogy or what came before while improving it on a different area. In this show, Obi-Wan Kenobi, sure, it didn't outright disrespect any legacy characters, but I don't think it almost doesn't really justify its existence. And that's where I think I have an issue with it, because I want Star Wars to be special. And it just doesn't feel special to me anymore. And I know it's sad, but you know what I mean? But I'm glad that you like it more than I do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I do. And I think it's time we start to rate this show. So are we going to rate it as a whole, or are we going to rank episodes? How do you want to do this?
I think, what do we do for Boba Fett? Book of Boba Fett. Do we rate it, then rank it?
I don't know, but let's do that.
Okay. So I'm going to rate it at a 78.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is your ranking for episode-wise?
Worst to best?
Best to worst.
Best to worst. Okay. Best.
6. It's going to be 6.
It's either 6 or 1. 6, 1, 5, 3, 2, 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I give this show 83. It's very good for a Star Wars TV show. Obviously nowhere near the level of Clone Wars or Rebels or any of that. Yeah. It's better than Bad Batch.
God, don't bring up that.
Anyway, so the ranking for me goes 6, 5, 3, 1, 2, 4.
6, 5,
3.
3. Yeah,
1,
okay.
2, 4.
1, 2, 4. That makes sense. I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not really, but
No, you obviously don't agree. But
we're close enough, right?
yeah.
All right, cool.
It's a solid show altogether, and
yeah. Let's talk about season 2. Like, do we want it? Do we not want it? You don't want season 2? Okay.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I don't really want it either.
We got. I think it's perfect the way it ended. It wrapped up very nicely for the show.
Because if they dip their toe into the whole Vader Obi-Wan thing again,
it's not going to make sense.
It's not going to.
It had to do with the path probably. So they're probably going to lead into the path with somewhere else in this. Maybe a Cal Kestis show. Maybe the path is going to be with him, or Quinlan Voss. Maybe he'll get his own show, something like that.
Okay.
I don't know, but it's definitely going to be a show that focuses on the path, because
cool.
they wouldn't just bring that up without anything going on in the future.
Yeah.
So,
what's your opinion on the potential Reva show?
See, I've heard that, but I don't believe that.
I thought it was
I could see her showing up in a show down the line, but I don't think she's going to get her own show just because of all the backlash she's faced. Nothing against her performance. I loved her performance. But I think just because of all the backlash that the fans have given her, I don't think they're going to give her her own show.
Maybe we should make a disclaimer that, being hurtful towards the actor is not the way to go. Criticize the performance, criticize the writing, don't attack the actor.
They're doing the best with what they're given.
Yeah.
And that it's not their fault. None of it.
It's not their fault. Yeah. So I totally understand.
That's the part of the Star Wars fan base that I cannot stand.
Yeah. And that's I hate saying this word, but that's the only part of the fandom that I would call toxic.
Mm-hmm. Most of Star Wars is great. The fan base is great, very including, very just brilliant.
I mean, have you seen the crowds at Star Wars Celebration?
Dude.
It's the biggest, I think it's the biggest fan base in the world, right?
Yeah.
Because everyone can relate to it.
Same thing with Marvel. Marvel's getting up there now too.
Yeah, Marvel's also really huge. So
okay, which fan base is better, Star Wars or Marvel?
Which fan base is better? Marvel by a mile.
Yeah, like overall,
because just this podcast, we're on kind of two different sides of it.
Yeah.
And just imagine that at way more of an extreme. Everybody hates something about Star Wars, and then, everybody hates something about the other person and stuff. You know what I mean?
Because they end up getting way too defensive about something, and then it just gets
exactly. Yeah.
It's just stupid.
It's
movies, franchise,
it's too much passion, and I'll give it that. And, granted, I have a lot of passion when it comes to
you do.
But I'm not going to outright hate anyone who disagrees with me. Yeah. You know what I mean? But some people don't have that self-control, and not to praise myself, but you know what I mean? Some people genuinely hate other people over a fucking movie.
It's very petty. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's where we should end this podcast.
Yeah.
We're Seen It Before. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok with the handle at Seen It Beforecast. That's SCENE, It Beforecast. Did I say Twitter?
No.
TikTok. Okay, it's TikTok and Instagram.
It's playing up above my head right now.
Yeah. Him. And then Twitter with the handle at @Sib_pod. I'm Dan.
I'm Danny. You can find me on Instagram at Danny_Was, my letterbox at DJ Was, or my YouTube channel, which is just Danny Was. I haven't actually posted on YouTube in quite a while, even though I said so. There was one commenter that said I really hope this guy does some more stuff, and I wrote to him yeah, more to come, and then I posted one video after that, and I haven't posted anything. But I'm still getting
disappointing your fan, man.
Yeah, whatever.
All right. Well, the boy. Oh my God, you almost knocked him off.
I know.
Don't knock the boy
I was
off.
looking at the monitor when I did it. There we go.
All right. Well, it's been an honor as usual. We'll see you next time.